my friends, I'm your MC Jedi Corey from Super Kami Guru 9000, and welcome to Star Wars for 100 days. I'm making 100 Star Wars videos, all leading up to the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Today we're going to talk about the prodigal Jedi, the main hero of the entire Star Wars saga, Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is the prototypical hero. He's the guy that we all want to be. Out of all of the characters from the entire Star Wars saga, I think Luke goes through the most development, and that makes sense, considering that in the original trilogy, he's effectively the main character. But what's most interesting about Luke Skywalker is that at the beginning of the Star Wars saga, he is nothing like he is towards the end. In fact, at the beginning, he's kind of a whiny little runt. But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. Savior of the galaxy, ladies and gentlemen! But by the end of episode 6, he is a full-fledged Jedi, completely decked out in robes, a badass green lightsaber, and even gets to have an amazing battle with his father, Darth Vader, aboard the Death Star, officially coming face-to-face with his very own destiny, in a scene which I believe features probably the best symbolism in the entire Star Wars universe. One thing that can definitely be said about Luke Skywalker's journey is that it was not an easy one. In fact, the way it actually opened up was surprisingly violent for the Star Wars series, because he just finds out that there's this old Jedi Master living on his home planet that just happened to be best friends with his father. A father he knows nothing about. And as soon as he returns home, what does he find? His entire family has been killed. His aunt and his uncle have been turned into skeletons by the frickin' stormtroopers. I don't know how they did that. Maybe they brought in some flamethrowers. As I recall, Yogurt from Spaceballs was a big fan of flamethrowers. Fueled with revenge and now having fire in his belly for the Empire, he decides to join Obi-Wan Kenobi and become his apprentice to effectively rebuild the Jedi Order. We are there with him through his entire journey. In the first movie, he barely even uses a lightsaber. In fact, he's basically just training with it for the duration of the movie, but we do get to see one of Luke's other big skills, which he's an amazing pilot. In fact, he can pilot an X-Wing like almost no other, and this makes sense because I'm sure he derived these abilities from his father, Darth Vader, otherwise known as Anakin Skywalker. However, his transition to becoming a Jedi really didn't happen until he saw the death of his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, aboard the Death Star, where Darth Vader just decapitated him and turned him into a giant pile of cloaks. Seriously, I understand that old scene is supposed to be like Obi-Wan becoming one with the Force, but it still looks kind of fake when Darth Vader cuts through him. It's in The Empire Strikes Back where Luke truly becomes a Jedi, because that's where he goes to the Dagobah system, he meets Yoda, going through some intense training, learning how to use the Force, and then he is forced to have an amazing confrontation with Darth Vader, learning that he's his father, and then having his frickin' hand cut off. The next time we see Luke, he has a brand new robotic hand, and frankly, he just looks like a badass. He's wearing all black, he's got these black cloaks, he just walks all casually into Jabba's palace, choking out all of the Gamorrean guards, walks right up to Jabba the Hutt and basically says, "Look, dude, give me my damn friends back." Warns him that even if he's captured, he's basically just going to completely annihilate Jabba and his entire entourage. Makes good on his promise by completely destroying Jabba's sail barge in the middle of the desert in a massive flurry of explosions. And then comes the most important part of Luke's journey. He decides that he has no choice but to confront his father. So what does he do? He literally turns himself over to the Empire, confronts both his father and the Emperor, and this is all followed by an incredibly badass duel where Luke, in a fit of rage, battles against his father, ends up cutting off his own hand, and then comes the most symbolic scene of Return of the Jedi. He looks at his father, who's half man, half machine, who has now lost his robotic hand. He then looks up to his, which was cut off by his own father, which is now replaced by a black robotic glove. It's at this moment that he realizes that if he goes any farther and destroys his father, he will simply go down the same path. And that's when he decides to stick to his Jedi roots, confront the Emperor, and be electrocuted until his father decides to save him, effectively bringing balance to the Force and allowing Luke to rebuild the Jedi Order. I never imagined that that whiny little kid who was kissing his sister would end up being like one of the greatest Jedi in the entire galaxy. He's effectively responsible for re-establishing everything about that order. However, there's still a lot of mystery as to really what happens at the end of Return of the Jedi, and that's what I'm really most interested in seeing in the brand new Star Wars films, The Force Awakens, Episode 8, and of course Episode 9. Maybe even we'll expand upon this in the anthology Star Wars movies, because there is a lot of ground to cover, and frankly, I don't feel like picking up all of the 30 novels which have been released in the last year, all leading up to The Force Awakens. When it comes to Star Wars, I prefer watching it, whether in a movie form or in a TV format. But what's really most interesting about all of the promotional material for Star Wars The Force Awakens is that we barely see Luke at all. There is one shot, apparently, where he's hanging out on some volcanic planet with R2-D2. At least that's what we all believe to be Luke Skywalker. The evidence is there. He has a slick, brand new robot hand. He's hanging out with R2. What I think is most interesting is that he's on a volcanic planet, which could very well be Mustafar, which is where Darth Vader went through his big transformation sequence where he got defeated by Obi-Wan and effectively became the big hulking badass for the Empire. I wonder what Luke is doing in this place and what his entire story is going to involve, because he has not been shown really officially in any of the trailers. I can't wait to see if he's going to be joining the characters of Finn and Rey and Han Solo and Chewbacca on their journey, or if this is going to be something they're going to save for the very end of the movie. My theory is we're probably not going to see Luke until the very end of Episode 7, if not maybe in like a post-credit scene. I have a feeling that he's going to be more like the Yoda, Obi-Wan type character in Episode 8, where he's going to have to actually train both Finn and Rey. Although, that's kind of hard to tell at the moment, because they're definitely pointing to the fact that Finn is going to be the Jedi hero of this series, but I still have a really important feeling about Rey. I have a feeling they're both going to be Jedi, and I can't wait to see how Luke is going to train them, if only to see a much older, more wiser version of this character, and I'm sure he's going to have some new skills as well. Luke Skywalker continues to be an amazingly inspiring character. He's not the most original character, but he's certainly an homage to those young, humble characters who started out with meager beginnings and ended up turning into a massive leader for a great cause. He's a really great character, honestly, at the end of the day, and like I said, out of all of the characters from the Star Wars universe, I think he honestly had some of the best development, and I still can't wait to see how this character is going to grow in all of the new Star Wars movies which are about to be released. If I did have a favorite Luke Skywalker moment from the movies, it's most definitely his final battle with his father aboard the second Death Star when they're right in front of Emperor Palpatine. The music, the choreography, just the lighting of the scene is so chilling and so amazing. And what I love most about the scene is that the minute he actually meets the Emperor throughout this until the end of the movie, the Emperor is doing everything in his power to actually draw out his anger, his fear, his hatred, and no matter what, it still never ultimately gets to Luke. Yeah, he ends up cutting off Darth Vader's hand, but he still manages to stop himself, throw his lightsaber away, and basically put up a big middle finger to the Emperor. Luke Skywalker is an amazing hero and one of my favorite characters from the Star Wars universe. So there it is, my friends. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Luke Skywalker today. It's not going to be the last video involving that character, but I just wanted to talk about him because I think he's an amazingly well-done and well-developed character from the Star Wars universe. Before you guys leave today, please tell me what you think about the character of Luke Skywalker, the hero from the original Star Wars trilogy, who will also be appearing in the brand new Star Wars films. What do you hope to see from him in The Force Awakens and beyond? And do you have a favorite Luke Skywalker moment, whether it be something funny or action-packed, or just some particular dialogue, just anything that involves Luke, please tell me in the comment section below, and I especially want to hear your theories about what he's going to be doing in the upcoming movies, so make sure to tell me down below. Thank you guys again for watching today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, that way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, and this continuing Star Wars series that I'm doing. We also have a weekly podcast show, which you guys should definitely check out. It's a lot of fun. Occasionally we have guests. We talk about just basically anything we want, and it's another really great way to actually communicate with us. You guys can also follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.